Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about money. Money allows us to meet our basic needs, to buy food, clothing, and shelter, and pay for healthcare. Meeting these needs is essential, and if we don't have enough money, our personal well being and the well being of everybody around us is going to suffer greatly. Now, I'm going to talk about wealth in your chart. Some of you may already be aware that wealth is indicated in the second house, the fifth house, the 11th house, and the ninth house. And the reason why I've listed ninth house in the last stack of this coin is because ninth represents the final wealth that anybody is going to make. Not many authors are going to tell you that. But let me tell you, if you have any planet in the ninth house, then that will clue you in on the amount of money that you're going to make. But that apart, I want to talk about a technique, a special technique to measure the degree of wealth that you would be generating in your lifetime. Okay, now when I say degree of wealth, I'm talking about whether you're going to be a millionaire or a billionaire, or if you're going to earn in several crores or lakhs, and there are two different techniques which employ the same calculations but are drastically different from each other. And both these techniques use the rays of the planets from the sun to arrive at the wealth lagna, which is called as Indu Lagna in classical astrology. And modern day software would be enough for you to know where the Indu Lagna is. No calculation or effort is required from your side. All you need to do is enter your birth details on the Jhora software, and it will show you the details of the Indu Lagna. In this example chart, you can see that Indu Lagna is in the sign of Leo, and we have Mercury situated in the sign of Leo. Okay, it is that simple. Now, coming to the technique itself, the planet occupying or aspecting the Indu Lagna or the Lord of the sign confers wealth during their periods commensurate with their strength. Okay, now if you want to look at the quantum of wealth, one of the texts actually tells you how to find that out. And before I discuss about that, if you're new to my channel, do not forget to subscribe below. If you've been a follower, or even if this is the first video that you're watching and come to like it, please hit that like button. Any support is very much appreciated and is definitely a boost to my motivation, as I spent a lot of time in researching some of these techniques. Now, as far as the technique goes, and as far as the principle goes, it is said that if a powerful benefic is situated in or aspects Indu Lagna, he earns in millions. Okay, so what is a powerful benefic? You can think of them as Jupiter or Venus, or an exalted Jupiter or Venus, or even Mercury, or Mercury being aspected by a full moon can also be considered as a very powerful benefic. Okay, a combination of a powerful benefic and a malefic makes the native earn in lakhs. Now, malefics are three, which are Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. Mars can also be termed as malefic under certain circumstances. Of course, not just malefic, he's highly malefic in certain circumstances, especially if he is the eighth lord. Okay, and if a powerful malefic joins or aspects the Indu Lagna, the native would still earn in lakhs. And a conjunction of a weak benefic, the theory states that a conjunction of a weak benefic will confer wealth in thousands, and the conjunction of a weak malefic confers wealth in hundreds. Okay, so you can think of a weak benefic as a planet which is in 0 degrees but is benefic, like the moon or Mercury or Jupiter or Venus. And you can think of the weak malefic as one among the planets of Saturn, Rahu, or Ketu, which is weak due to debilitation or because they are in 0 degrees. Okay, obviously the only problem that I find with this theory is that this does not account for what is called as inflation. Right? Imagine someone trying to apply this technique, say in the year 2050 or even in the year 3000. Hundreds would probably be pennies by then. It would make little sense to use this theory and to find out the quantum of wealth that you're going to make. And that is the reason why it's important to go by the dictum of Vedic astrology, which states use Desh Kal Patra before arriving at a conclusion. Desh Kal Patra simply means take into consideration the place, the time, and the individual himself before predicting. You wouldn't predict huge wealth to the native during the dasha of a planet when the native is only 8 years old. Right? That would make no sense unless, of course, you can see that the wealth is coming from the 8th house, which is due to inheritance, and the child is likely to lose his or her parents or their guardians or loved ones, and which is why they're going to make that money. Now, if you still insist on using the above technique, though nothing wrong, you could do that. But keeping in mind the dictum of Desh Kal Patra, you may have to multiply those numbers maybe by tens or hundreds, commensurate with the economic situation prevailing during that time. However, in my opinion, it is not that simple. You cannot have a multiplication factor of 100, which can be applied to all of these scenarios, right? It doesn't make much sense, especially in places like this. You would probably be blowing it out of proportion, right? Now, the second technique I want to talk about is my own technique, and I wanted to cut a new path and break from the fetters of convention, so to speak, and I've come up with a different technique, which will probably even stand the test of time and give you an idea of how much money you can expect to make based on the planetary positions, no matter which time you're looking at this, right? And I usually only give out if it's applicable across all horoscopes and not just one. I've researched this on several horoscopes and I've found this to be very accurate. The rest, I'll leave it to you to be a judge. So let's begin. Now, Sun is a Karaka for high office, right? He is a Karaka for government. Sun is the Karaka for being a leader, an executive, for being a minister. He is a royal planet, right? Now, if Sun is placed in Indu Lagna, or aspects it, or conjoins or aspects the Lord of the sign occupied by Indu Lagna, your wealth, you can say, will probably be equal in degree with the wealth of the profession indicated by the Sun. Now, the highest post indicated may be that of a chief executive officer in a multinational company, or maybe even a manager, or it could be the president or the prime minister of a country. Though government jobs don't pay much, they do get a lot of respect and perquisites like free travel, free boarding, maybe free food even. And if you are in the apex scale in a multinational company, you may be getting stock options, so on and so forth. All of this, however, depends on how strong your Sun is. Now, let me illustrate that through an example. In our chart, in this chart, you can see that Mercury is in Indu Lagna. You can say that the person will make wealth during the dasha of Mercury. Indu Lagna is also being aspected by Saturn, so the native will make money during the dasha of Saturn as well. But compared to Mercury, Saturn may not make so much. Why? Because Saturn is the Karaka for servants. And in this example, you can also see that Rahu and Jupiter are also aspecting Indu Lagna, which means the native is going to make money even during the dasha of Rahu as well as Jupiter. He's going to make plenty of wealth, right? Now let's say you have Moon connected with Indu Lagna. Moon is also a royal planet and signifies professions connected to water, like shipping, sailing, supply of water. You can bring in careers related to restaurant and fine dining because Moon represents rice, confectionaries, milk. Doctors and dentists also form part of careers indicated by the Moon. You can also connect domestic help, childcare, hospitality, service industry, care and nurturing, nursing, psychologists, and yeah, motivational speakers. All of this under the sway of the Moon. And your wealth will be equal to any of the professions indicated by the Moon. Okay, now let's say you have Mars in Indu Lagna. Mars, what is Mars? Mars governs military service. Mars governs police service, government jobs. Mars is also a sportsman, like Olympics, or he could also represent athletics, martial arts, law enforcement, security, watch and guard duties. Mars is a karaka for surgeons. He's a karaka for real estate traders. Technical jobs in the field of electronics is also governed by Mars. And if it's an exalted Mars, then you can think of the highest salary earned by any of these professions. Like real estate at the moment, I think is doing pretty good, and you can say that real estate can fetch a lot of money. So you can equate that. You can equate the money that you would earn if you had an exalted Mars with that of a real estate trader, to think of the highest amount of money that you may get. However, you need to remember that the salaries associated with each of these professions vary from time to time. So you never know which of these professions will be the next big thing which can make you a millionaire or a billionaire, right? Now, let's say you have Mercury aspecting or situated in the Indu Lagna. Okay, Mercury rules over communication, scientific jobs. It rules over commerce, like Amazon's Jeff Bezos, right? Who is the owner of e-commerce giant. Mercury rules over transportation. You can bring in, carry and forward freight as part of the profession under its sway. Of course, exaltation, conjunction, aspect, degree, strength of the planet will give you a hint of the kind of money you will make during the dasha of the planet. But overall, in my experience, if you can see Mercury connected with the Indu Lagna, and if Mercury happens to be your wealth bringer, then I can say that your fortune looks pretty good. Now, let's say you have Jupiter aspecting or situated in the Lagna. What is Jupiter? Jupiter represents teaching, preaching, consultancy. Jupiter also represents information technology, lawyers. Jupiter represents spiritual counselors, gurus. Now, if you look at some of these spiritual gurus, they are making more money than the professions indicated by Sun, Moon, and Mars combined, like Sadhguru, or even people like Osho, who made plenty of wealth. You can also add Baba Ramdev to the list. Right? It's not just about the money, it is also the kind of contribution that they make to the society. Now, I'm not talking about their wealth. Their net worth is available over the internet, and anybody can Google and find out. Right? And Jupiter is by no means a modest or frugal planet, right? Jupiter aspecting Indu Lagna should tell you that it's going to make you very affluent. It's important for you to remember that all these professions need to be seen connected to the time you're hearing this. In the year 3000, Jupiter may make less money than, say, Mars or the Moon. All of that depends on Desh Kalpatra, right? Do not forget this. Now let's say you have Venus aspecting or situated in the Lagna. What is Venus? Venus, you can bring fashion designers, traders in the luxury items, including jewelry, fine clothing, art, music, cinema, media, entertainment, right? Now, the amount of money you may make may be equal to one of these professions, and an exalted Venus can give you plenty of wealth. Trust me. Look at Bernard Arnault, who is the CEO of the world's largest luxury goods company. He is the second richest person in the world, right? And yeah, automobiles, they're also ruled by Venus. The owner of Tesla, that is Elon Musk, is at present the world's most richest person. That is the power of Shukra. He can give you money like no other, because even in the natural zodiac order, he is the owner of the second house, which indicates wealth. Now let's say you have Saturn in the Indu Lagna, or even aspecting it, or Saturn aspecting the lord of the sign of Indu Lagna. Now Saturn is a karaka for servants, right? So during the dasha of Saturn, you can say that the person will make money which may be the same as any of the professions indicated by Saturn, like menial jobs, cobblers, servants, people functioning in the lower rung of the ladder in any organization. Basically, the blue collar professions who are considered the working class can be brought under the sway of Saturn, and that is probably how much you might make during Saturn dasha. It is probably the lowest, but with changing times, you never know which of these professions will fetch more money in the years to come. Now, you may have 2 or 3 planets aspecting Indu Lagna, or which is situated in the Indu Lagna. So all of these planets will give you wealth during its dasha. So no need to worry if you aren't making much right now, because more than one planet connected to Indu Lagna can bring that extra money that you wish to earn. Now remember, if the planet in question is very powerful, it confers proportionately high degree of effects during its dasha. The other thing that I want to tell you is that in reality, most of us possess average incomes, and the number of rich people are definitely very less in number. So you shouldn't make predictions which are very far-fetched, unless there is a indication that the planet aspecting or situated in the Indu Lagna is highly beneficial or in an exalted state. And you should also consider the dasha, the bhukti, the strength of the planets, the shadbala in the birth chart before arriving at your prediction. But for most of us, it's best to keep the numbers in a very practical and pragmatic scale and not in extremes. Now, I haven't tested this theory based on transits, so interested and industrious candidates may test the theory based on the transits where the planets are situated or aspecting the Indu Lagna, or conjoining or aspecting the Lord of the Indu Lagna. And that's all for today. Please do let me know how this works for you when you apply it to your chart. If you like the video, do hit the like button, and if you are new to my channel, do not forget to subscribe. You can also ask me questions in the comment section, and I will be happy to help you with it. Thank you very much. Until next time, stay tuned with VGS Astro.